This program was proudly brought to you by the Global Foundation of Public Speaking. Leave No Youth Behind has been a trending hashtag over the last couple of months and maybe even the last couple of years. As we celebrate Bulawayo Day 2022, I sat down with the junior mayor of the city of Bulawayo to get his thoughts on whether the youth of the city felt included or left behind in the development agenda and processes of the city. Here's my brief but captivating and insightful interview with the eloquent junior mayor of Bulawayo, His Worship Jewel Damunesa. Your Worship, thank you very much for doing this.
You're welcome.
So, I think first things first, I want to ask if young people in the city of Bulawayo understand their role and their rights as citizens.
Well, I personally believe to a certain extent they do. I mean, if you look at the very existence of the Bulawayo Junior City Council and our mandate, so I'll just briefly explain what we are and what we do. Yeah. So basically, the Bulawayo Junior City Council was founded in April 1968, and we are mandated to create a link between the young citizens of the city and the senior council. Nice. To sort of like bring knowledge to young citizens and to groom young leaders who are able to be ambassadors of the city. And so if you look at our programs that we have, the programs that we have aim at ensuring that young people in the city are sort of like conscientized and they know what is really going on in their city. Yeah. However, I must admit that maybe to a certain extent there is some form of nonchalance or some laissez-faire attitudes among the youth as to say, are they really interested in their roles and responsibilities? Because when you understand this, roles and responsibilities are quite complex and complicated. So they sort of like don't understand because, for example, paying water bills, they leave it to the parents because the parents are the ones who make the money and the parents are the ones who are going to pay. But sort of like there needs to be much more work that is done towards ensuring that our young citizens play an active role even in their responsibilities.
Yes. But what's like the danger of indifference when it comes to policy issues by young people?
Well, I think I'm going to answer your question in 4 parts. The first answer would be talking about community capacity. I think at the heart of any governing body or institution should be maximizing the participation of everyone in the community or the population that is being governed. So because if the young people don't participate, the city of Bulawayo will not be an inclusive community. Remember, we need to understand what young people really think so that we run the city in the way that young people want the city to be run. But then secondly, you should look at it at the level of positive youth development. I think there's a direct and a very strong correlation between positive youth development and allowing youth participation. This is to say, if young people in the city are allowed to voice their concerns, to have a say in decision making and policy making, they tend to become more confident in themselves and they're boosted and I think they tend to exercise safe career choices in the future and they're going to be good leaders in society. But then the third level would be on societal dynamics. I think when we understand the role of youth in society, we need to appreciate that there's certain stereotypes that exist that maybe adults can interact with the young because the young are still too young. But I believe in sustainability. If we are to inherit the city of Bulawayo, we should start now. We shouldn't wait until we have beard or we have gray hair or something like that. We should start now because we're yet to inherit this city. And also I think if we look at the psychology of young people, cognitively we're still developing and our minds are very impressionable. So if you look at that, we need to impart a love for the city within the young people. So yeah, I think that's my...
But here's the thing, even if the young people love the city, they're interested in the city, do you think the senior policymakers actually hear or value the voices of the young people, even if they express themselves?
Okay, I'll answer that question in 2 parts. The first part, you need to understand the youth policy of the city of Bulawayo, which dates back as the 4th of December 1957, when we started as the city of Bulawayo to establish youth clubs, dancing clubs, to establish community centers where the youth can meet and interact. And we also have the junior council, of course. However, you might argue that we need to improve the youth centers that are around the city. But then I think the participation of the youth is a two-way thing. In as much as the senior politicians are going to listen they need to have the voices that they're supposed to listen to. So if the young citizens are not communicating and they're not voicing their concerns, what are the senior policymakers going to listen to?
Yeah.
So it's a two-way thing. Both the young and the seniors should meet together and have a discussion.
In your time in the Junior Council, do you think that the city of Bulawayo and the way it is organizing its development programs, there's this leave no youth behind that we constantly see online. Do you think the city of Bulawayo in its development is inclusive and it's specific when it comes to young people?
I think the city of Bulawayo is trying by all means to include young people and hear the voices of young people. I mean, we have budget consultations that are tailored for the young people to come and participate. And we also have meetings where young people are expected to attend, but we also need to understand, do I really think to go to a ward meeting or to go for a budget consultation? So, I mean, the city is trying, and we even try to maintain the sporting activities. We have the junior council and everything, the development of the city. But young people, bring your voice, come to the table, learn about the city, have the information about the things that are happening around the city, and all will be well, I think. No one is left behind.
Every time I talk to you, I get so excited, and I think to myself, maybe you're a junior mayor for a year, am I correct?
Yes.
So I'm thinking to myself, in the year that you are going to be junior mayor, in the months that you have served, what have you done to make sure that your tenure as the junior mayor is impactful and just not another ceremonial thing that, hey, listen, I was junior mayor in 2022 when you're in like 2050, and it's just not another ceremonial thing. What are you doing to make sure your term is one of impact?
So constitutionally, as the Junior Council, we are mandated to create programs for young people to participate and bring their views. So I'm just going to give you a brief list of the things that we have done and things that we intend to do.
Yeah.
So firstly, we've had the anti-gender-based violence campaign and a cleanup campaign in the city.
Nice.
And we've also had previously Africa Day celebrations online, where we got young people to bring their talent and the vibrancy of the city that we see in young people through the Africa Day celebration. And also this very junior city council has developed a mobile application that is called QOD, which is a platform where people can advertise their skills or be hired, where people can just interact, sort of like targeted at the unemployment that is in the country as a whole. And we've also, as junior council, the humanitarian perspective, we've visited Kunisani Children's Home, where we've interacted with children. We've had a Christmas party for them to understand that. And we have also visited and cleaned up Vulindlela Children's Home, where we've really understood what really happens in our society, the plagues that we have in our society, and how we intend to address them.
Wow.
But prospectively, as the Junior City Council, we intend to have a book that runs for forever for all the junior councils to come. A book where young people can voice their concerns in the ways that are understood by young people themselves. And we also intend to have a magazine as well as junior council. I mean, among many other things that we intend to have.
Yeah. And I see that you understand the power of your platform that you have. What are some of the things that I can say you appreciate about the platform that comes with being junior mayor?
It is one thing to sit at home and brood over everything that is wrong that is going around the city, and it is also another to be at a position of leadership and to understand. So one thing that I appreciate about being in junior council is it has given me a position that is not biased, where I can see many young people, interact with many young people, and understand what they're saying and voicing their concerns. By the way, we have 62 junior councillors with different ideas, seething and boiling with brilliant ideas. So imagine the exposure when you're meeting the minds from St. Columbus, from Pumula High, and everywhere, and everyone is brought in one place. It's very inspiring, I think.
So from where you are as the junior mayor, what can you say to someone who is saying, I'm in Form 3 right now and I want to be a junior councillor when I'm in lower 6 or upper 6, with respect to what still needs to be done, what you have done, what still needs to be done? Speak to the junior councillor to be.
Okay, so to future junior councillors, I would like to liken junior council to a flame that should always be burning. But how do we ensure that this flame is always burning? I think there still is need for us to conscientize young people about the city of Bulawayo, because we might argue that the junior council is there and people understand, but 62 people out of a population of how many? There's much that still needs to be done to that. And we also need young people to participate in the governance and the policy making, to understand the youth policy, because I tell you, if I were to ask any young person right now do you even understand the city of Bulawayo's youth policy? They don't know what that is. They have this attitude like, so so you need to understand that our line of work as junior council is never ending, because we always have young people that need to be brought to be these patriotic citizens of the city of Bulawayo.
Yeah. So what has stopped the current junior council from actually doing the things that you are saying? Why is it something that you hope will be done later?
Well, if you're dealing with things like the mindset,
Right.
it's not an overnight thing. I cannot do it in 1 year, because I'm trying to influence thinking and influence mindset. And you know how when people have these stereotypes that have been entrenched in their minds, it tends to be difficult to unroot them and sort of like impart new ideas and tell them why it is important. So I think it is something that has to be organic. Like, it has to take step in stages, and because this flame that I'm carrying right now should be passed on to other junior councillors. And yeah, I think so.
And so maybe in closing, because we're celebrating Bulawayo Day and what Bulawayo Day is, what the city of Bulawayo is, maybe in closing, what are some of the things that make you proud to be a citizen of Bulawayo, and most specifically, the junior mayor of the city of Bulawayo?
The city of Bulawayo is a really beautiful city, I'm not going to lie. If we look at the tradition of the city and the heritage of the city, it's founding from the 1840s to the 1860s, when Gundwan and Diweni came, the establishment of the Ndebele state, and the establishment of the city in 1894, and the declaration of the city in 1943. You feel like the city is very rich, and the heritage sites that we have within the city are quite amazing. I might as well make reference to the heritage corridor with the president we had last year in June. You know, the Victorian architecture that we still have right now, the St. Mary's Cathedral minor basilica, which is, by the way, the only minor basilica in the SADC region. It's something to be proud of.
Nice.
And you also have the Natural History Museum, which is ranked among the 4 best museums in the Southern African region. So if you see and you understand the richness of the heritage of the city of Bulawayo, and we also, as a city, I think the city of Bulawayo is a very vibrant city.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at the people that we've produced from the sporting field, we have Peter Ndovu, we have Mariwari, we have so many people that are amazing that we produce through sport. And also, talking about cultural and academics, we have people like David Coulthard, who was once the Minister of Education. And also within our young people, we've had young people going to represent Zimbabwe in an international debating competition in England, coming from this very city. And I tell you, the present national debate team is like, 2/3 of it is coming from Bulawayo, and that is something to be proud of, I think.
Your Worship, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
This program was proudly sponsored by Yanaya. Hashtag, it will end in health. The face and the voice of big brands was proudly dressed by Sizzling Styles Boutique. The Global Foundation of Public Speaking brings you events, conversations, and competitions that advocate for the realization and implementation of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals.